Yeah, record.
We go to Canon 38. So we have to summarize what are the ways in which an administrative act can be invalid. Some of them we already saw already. One thing right at the beginning of the section or this title itself we saw. Intra finis suve competentiae. What is it? Intra within the limits of your competence. Whenever the authority exceeds the competence, then the administrative act is invalid. Suppose it is the bishop alone who has to give, the parish priest gives. He is exceeding, parish priest is exceeding the competence. The first way in which it can become invalid. Secondly, just now we saw, sometimes the written form affects the validity. When the written form is required for validity, the administrative act is given orally. Then it may be invalid or it will lack effect at least. And the third one, there is the need of the execution. It is not at all executed. The letter came, the intermediary is keeping quiet or burned it. Then it has no effect. So there is need of execution. These three we already saw. So the competence required was lacking. Written form is required for validity or being effective, it was lacking, or it was not at all executed.
Beyond this limit also will be invalid.
So this
authorities where it doesn't have the power to give.
Yeah.
Supposing beyond this capacity.
Yeah, that's why. That's what it will come in the power. It doesn't have beyond his power. He goes means he doesn't have the power. Huh? Anyhow, he exceeds the competence.
One is without having authority.
Yeah.
Having authority, but more than that.
Yeah, both. A lay person, no power whatsoever. The parish priest has got some power maybe, but he exceeds the power. Both cases it is. In addition to these three, this canon speaks of one more. So we read Canon 38. An administrative act has no effect in so far as it harms the acquired right of another. We know acquired right is very much required, respected by the code. Example Canon 4. It should not harm the acquired right of another. That we have seen. And then secondly, it is contrary to law or approved custom. Administrative act contrary to law or approved custom. Approved custom also has the effect of law. An administrative act should not be contrary to the law or approved custom. But note well, when it is contrary, there must be an exceptive clause or derogatory clause. Derogatory clause must normally mention the law from which the exception is given. For example, Canons 1083 to 1094 contain the impediments. Some of the impediments are of Ecclesiastical law. Some are of divine law. Ecclesiastical law can be dispensed. The dispensation must contain this law, and I am hereby dispensing you from the law. Only the person who has the power to dispense from it can do it. That's why the canon says, if you don't add a derogatory clause, then the administrative act will lack juridical effect. Because this ensures that the person issuing the administrative act has the necessary competence, always acts in accordance with the law, or is in a position to make an exception to the law. That's why the code insists, whenever it is contrary to law, contrary to an approved custom which has the effect of law, a derogatory clause must be added. If it is not added, the administrative act will lack the necessary effect. Derogatory clause. Derogatory clause means from this law this law is partially revoked in your case. I have the power to do so. The person issuing should have the power to do so. He should have legislative power. Normally, the person must have the power to do so. So, besides what we said so far, there is another clause which I omitted purposely. Even if there is a question of a rescript given motu proprio. So, a rescript, later on we will study, is normally in response to a petition. Normally preceded by a petition. Somebody requests, res scribere means reply in writing. Reply in writing. Rescript normally contains a privilege, dispensation or favor, or even permission. Sometimes will come under rescript. Privilege, dispensation, favor. It is normally, as a general rule, somebody makes a request and then gets the administrative act, which is called a rescript from the competent authority. Normally. Another difference between this is the main difference between decree. Decree also administrative act. Normally from the initiative of the authority. A decree is normally from the initiative of the authority. But both have exceptions. Sometimes without asking for a rescript also authority can give. Authority can give. Sometimes you ask for a decree also. That is also possible. That is exception to the general rule. We will study about them later on. But here, what is motu proprio rescript? It is without petition, from the initiative of the authority, from his proper motive. Motu proprio means even if there is a petition, the authority can add this clause. I do not grant this rescript because of the reasons given in your petition. I give on my own. I give. Sometimes there is no petition. Sometimes there is petition, but authority does not grant because of the petition. In both cases, it is called motu proprio. At my own initiative, for my own reasons. For my own reasons. The authority can give, but authority must take care of three things. Does my administrative act injure acquired rights? Does my administrative act
go against the law or approved custom. If it goes against it, then authority must take care to add a derogatory clause. Derogatory clause. Sometimes people don't understand what is derogatory clause. A clause that accepts the person from the observance of a particular, a specific law. Specific law. Otherwise, the administrative act. This is to ensure that the administrative act is issued in accordance with the law. He knows that he is going against the law. Against the law. When he goes against the law. Normally, everything should be in accordance with the law. When it goes against the law, come on, mention the law and then show that you have power to go against it. Power to go against it. Feel free to ask any question, an administrative act. So when you think of all this, appointment and things like that, precept. A precept is also a decree. An obligation is imposed. An obligation is imposed. Precept means to do something, remain in this place. That is a precept. Don't leave this place. Precept. Go and make 1 week retreat in Anjali Ashram. That is a precept. A precept is a command by which an obligation is directly imposed on a person. That is called precept. That is also an administrative.
For the Canon 36,
Yeah.
it is said that administrative act should be strictly interpreted if it harms the acquired right of the other.
Yeah.
The following canon says that it has, the 38 canon says that it has no effect as far as it harms the acquired right.
Yeah.
So here it says no effect, there it says it should be strictly interpreted.
So, okay. Normally it should not be correct. It's a good observation. Normally it should not be against the acquired rights. Acquired right or precept. In Canon 36 it says you have doubt that it harms. When there is no doubt it is against the acquired right, then you should not give. There it is more about doubt. Doubt is there, then also interpreted in favor of the acquired right. Okay. That's maybe, yeah, good observation. Okay, shall we go to the next canon? Yes, we canon number 39. So, sometimes conditions may be attached to an administrative act. Fulfillment of certain conditions. Suppose somebody is suitable only to hear the confession of the lay persons, not priests and religious, because he is not so mature. Those days, you have to get special faculty to hear the confession of sisters. When I was in priest, one priest was telling, see, when I was 35, already I was given faculty to hear the confession of this sister. That too contemplative and all. Not all can hear all confession. So it was there such kind of restriction. What here I am saying, so I grant you this faculty provided you hear the confession only of the laity. Suppose he hears the confession of others, then it will become invalid. So the code uses 3 words. Only 3 words. If the condition is preceded by if, unless, and provided that. conditions preceded by these particles affect validity. Si, nisi, dum modo. Si, nisi, dum modo. This is exhaustive, not indicative particles, not similar particles. Only these three particles are preceding. In that case, it is the fulfillment of the condition affects the validity. Fulfillment of the condition. You may appoint teachers in your school in this parish, provided that you conduct a written examination for all the applicants. So it is provided that is used. So it is. You may appoint teachers if they have completed the postgraduate. If, because the word if comes, then it affects the validity. Only these three particles. The old code said and similar particles. New code says only these three. Only these three. Unfortunately, the Tamil translation, I did not pay attention. They put it unlike these particles. They were wrong. They followed the old one. I don't know. I have to correct it. I saw once whether once again second edition I corrected it or not. I don't know. And the similar particles they translated like that, as in the old code. Only these three particles, if they are preceding, they affect the validity. So far we have studied what are the ways in which an administrative act can be invalid. If I ask you, even earlier years I did not teach so clearly this particular point. I never asked them. What are the ways in which an administrative act can be invalid? You have to say one by one. First of all, somebody who does not have the competence issues the administrative act or exceeds his competence issues the administrative act. So that is one of the things. And secondly, when written form is required for validity, you give oral. And thirdly,
it is not executed.
Not executed.
It is not executed.
Okay, it is not executed. So we don't say invalid, it is not effective. I mean, when it is not executed, we only say invalid. Validity is when they sign, but effective for that person only when it is executed. And then the fourth,
when it affects the acquired rights.
Acquired rights or goes against the law. In that case, there must be a derogatory clause. When the derogatory clause is missing, then it is against the law. And then finally, when a condition that is preceded by the three adverbs, si, nisi, dum modo, has not been fulfilled, then also it is affecting the validity. So this is for all administrative acts, whether decrees or restricts. Yeah.
One more is contrary to the custom.
Yeah, contrary to law. I said approved custom. Approved custom is equal to law. That's why title number 1 ecclesiastical law, title number 2 custom. Very good. You are understanding much better now. Huh? Very good. I am proud of you. I am proud of you. The next, if you are not attentive, what do you? You will not understand the rest of the things. Because so many things are there. So suppose you get dispensation, then general norm will come to your mind. So if he is poor, you hereby grant. If he is given, so he is not poor. So this is not applicable, this is invalid. Immediately this canon will come to your mind. Provided you fasted 1 month, then you do this. Oh, provided is used. Or sometimes you will say you may fast, then it is not affecting validity. Provided. So like that, all these general norms will be useful to rightly understand rest of the canons. The next few canons are big in size but easy to understand. In all the following canons speak about the role of the executor of an administrative act. So far about persons who issue the administrative act. So far we saw about the competent authority who issues the administrative act. Rest of the canons, what is the role of the executor? Executor comes into the picture only in what type of administrative act? Forma? Forma commissoria. You know to read Latin. C-O-M-M-I. Forma commissoria administrative acts. Executor comes into the picture. So what is the role of the executor? It is like reading a story. Next few canons, fast we can read and you will understand. Nothing difficult here. Role of the executor. We come to the first canon, canon 40. All these norms of common law, common sense and prudence. Suppose you are the executor, you have to follow these norms. Even without these norms, you have to behave accordingly. Only they are verbalized here. First one, 40. The executor of any administrative act cannot validly carry out this office before receiving the relevant document. What is his duty? First, reception of the document. Reception of document. The first duty. Second, establish the authenticity and integrity. Authenticity. Is it true? That's what. Authenticity of the document. Nowadays they scan some bishop's signature and then put also. In our diocese, the priests joined together and wrote the resignation of the bishop in his letter pad with his signature and sent to the nuncio. The nuncio asked him, "Thank you, Father, for sending your resignation." "No, I never resigned. I am only 72. The priests were not happy with the bishop, so like that. So the nuncio must, before forwarding it, whether it is authentic, true letter, then you have to examine the integrity. Is there any addition or omission? Integrity. Many cases have been referred to me in which some priests have forged the signature of the bishops for staying abroad, doing pastoral ministry. I don't think anybody in Canada did like this, but in some other countries, in Germany and other countries, they have given letters, bishops' letters. And the bishop says, "I never gave the letter. I never gave the letter. I never gave permission. I never gave permission. He has written permission." So you have to see, any executor must see first, did you receive the document? Do you know it is authentic? Is there any addition, omission or deletion? Whatever it may be, it has to be checked. Otherwise, it would be invalid. Only when you check this, it will be valid, because the lawgiver expressly states, But exception, before receiving the document, can you do it? Suppose prior notice of this document has been conveyed to the executor on the authority of the person who issued the administrative act. On the authority of the person, the competent authority already gave prior information. When I was assistant priest, we had a problem. When you are blessing marriages of the couple who are from two different dioceses, the paper must always go to the chancery of each of the dioceses. Already dispensation is obtained, dispensation is from any impediment. In addition, this is a necessary ritual. Very difficult it was. Actually, when I was in Karaikal, so it is surrounded by Tanjore and Kumbakonam diocese. So if somebody goes 1 kilometer and marries, you have to send the chancery here letter. Those days, no, this courier and this and that, we did not have. We have to rely on the ordinary post only. They will take 10 days, what to do? Till the papers come entered, we should not normally bless the marriage. Then from the chancery, those days only landline, they will phone. We have already sent the papers, go ahead with the marriage. Tomorrow marriage, still paper today did not come, we phone to the chancery of both dioceses and they say we have already dispatched, it is on the way, go ahead. So this is prior notice is given. Sometimes people will say, no, father told in Pondicherry that they have sent the papers. No, you cannot do it. You should get that notification. That's what here exceptive clause is given unless prior notice of this document has been conveyed to the executor on the authority of the person who issued the administrative act. Who issued the administrative act. General rule is don't proceed. If the competent authority tells you that I have sent or gives information, then you can proceed. This is an exception. Like in any case, exception must be interpreted strictly. Exception is, that is the first rule. You should not presume that they have got dispensation, this and that. The authority which gave dispensation must tell you.
In the second one, this speaks about necessary executor. I told you about necessary executor and voluntary executor. Voluntary executor has more freedom, but necessary executor normally does not have a freedom. The competent authority also makes a person voluntary executor when it is convinced about the maturity and the ability of the person. Otherwise, they make the person necessary executor. They take the decision and only communicate. So, can the necessary executor refrain from executing? That is the question. Can the necessary executor delay the execution or refrain from executing an administrative act? Administrative act. The other day one man was telling, one priest was telling, an administrative act has come from the Holy See, the bishop is simply keeping quiet without communicating. About a particular bishop, one priest was telling. How do you know? No, Father, I know. He is simply keeping quiet for an opportune time to execute. Unless the Holy See says that, he cannot do like that, isn't it? If they have proof, they have to inform. But all the more so, if you are necessary executor, immediately you have to execute. You are asked to communicate, that's all. So let us see, what are the situations in which the necessary executor can refuse to execute. Canon 41. So, the executor of an administrative act to whom the task of merely executing instead of only, actually Latin uses the word merum, merely execution is entrusted, cannot refuse to execute it. General principle, necessary executor cannot refuse. You know it already by the explanation we have received in this class. But see the exceptions. Even the necessary executor need not execute if it is quite clear the act itself is null. The document is invalid. Suppose there was no signature. Some people write letters without signature. It is null and void. You have to put in the dustbin. Many people take it very seriously when the act itself is null. Number one. Second, there is a grave reason, some other grave reason, so it is not good to execute it. Some other grave reason. And third, conditions attached have not been fulfilled. So in these three cases, even the necessary executor can refuse, but then he should always inform the higher authority. Inform the higher authority. Even in the first three cases also. The second case, it is, the next sentence it is mentioned. If it is inopportune, it is not worthwhile, it is not advisable, inopportune. Here also he can postpone. If it is inopportune. In this case also he has to inform the author of the administrative act. By inopportune, because of circumstances of person or place. For this person, this administrative act or place. A simple thing. Suppose the diocesan bishop or the Holy See tells in a particular parish, 2 or 3 persons can receive Holy Communion even though they are in invalid marriage. It may not be a big problem abroad, but if in a particular village, those who are in only attempted marriages, sister was asking, what is attempted marriage? Attempted marriage is an invalid marriage in the eyes of the church. Can be given because of this place. There will be a commotion. Many people will leave the church. If it is done abroad it may be tolerated. For example, 2 brothers, brother and brother, their son and daughter want to marry. Brother and sister, their son and daughter want to marry. Canonically, both are 4th degree, collateral line, affinity. Canonically same. The bishop is allowed to dispense, no need of Holy See, 4th degree. But then in a village, if you are giving this dispensation, there will be a huge commotion. They will say, my brother's daughter is my daughter. She is considered as his own sister. His own sister. In this case, they will say Morakondan, we have to marry because auntie's father's sister's daughter. So it will may be inopportune in a particular place for the parish priest to implement. Bishop is within his right to give the dispensation. He may say, Bishop, if I bless this marriage in this parish, I can't remain here. Canonically, after dispensation, it is valid. But it is inopportune to execute the administrative act. So he has to inform. Or he can say, let them go somewhere else. Already she is conceived, what to do? Dispensation is happening. Let them go somewhere and marry. Inopportune. It is not advisable to go. In our culture, it is like that. In Kerala, even your father's sister's son, they don't marry. In Tamil Nadu, they think they must marry. Mora. So she is meant for you only. Only then when you don't marry only. In my own family, so many are married like that. My brother has married, my cousin sisters, all of them married their first cousins only. Because maybe,
You love it.
only I have not married. They were too old. Okay. So that is it.
The sanction is from the policy is given.
Yes.
The Dyson Bishop he is giving at this time, the people will be creating a lot of commotion. So he is keeping quiet for some time.
Yeah. Normally you have to see you are a necessary executor or a voluntary executor. So in this case it is a necessary executor. But he has to inform the author that I am delaying. Otherwise he is not just. Otherwise people will be thinking policy has not acted. Policy has done its work. You have to inform the higher authority.
But sometimes-
Already this time.
Sometimes when there is a litigation between the priest and the bishop,
Yeah.
and there is sanction on him, and this priest is applying to the higher
Holy
holy see, and there is a rescript from the holy see which the bishop is having, and the bishop is delaying it purposely.
Yeah, that's what. Delaying, such kind of delay must be informed. If somebody knows, inform to the police. Then bishop will be taken to task. Or if you are the bishop, you are supposed to delay it if it is inopportune, but then you have to inform the police.
How to prove then, brother?
Yeah, that's what we will prove later on when it is given the letter. Later on when it is given the letter. You write letter, another letter to the holy see, then they say, we already sent such a letter to the bishop. Then only they will be in problem. So you should not delay it. If you are delaying it, then you have to repair the damage done. Canon 128. Anybody who causes harm must repair the damage done. 128. Okay. We will conclude.